Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Oxymoron Gaming. I, Tok, will be bringing you yet another retrospective review. So today's game, ladies and gentlemen, is Harvest Moon Back to Nature. This game was featured on the PlayStation 1 and released in the EU in 2001. But Japan got it in 1999. Yet another case of early games being released in Japan way before they're released over here. The idea behind this game is you are running a farm. That's right, you're a farmer. I know doesn't sound like the most exciting game in the world, but it can be fun. Now, on this farm, not only do you grow crops, water crops, harvest crops, sell crops, but you also get to raise animals. You get chickens, cows, sheep, and a horse, which all grow up in their own little time. Now, the year in Harvest Moon is set into 4 different seasons. You get spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Now, during the spring, summer, and autumn, you get to grow different fruits and vegetables, and different things are available to you. The entire year is broken up by different sorts of events that happen, much like our very own bank holidays. One, you'll have a parade where all the pretty girls come out in their best dress. Then there are other times when it's horse racing fever. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, you can bet on your favorite horse, and if you've got a horse, you can compete in the races and try and earn even more money. Why do you want money, you say? You want money because you want to upgrade your house. You start in a little shack and you can upgrade it 3 times until you finally get an actual house, a bedroom that's actually separate to everything else. Why is this important? Because you can actually get married. You can go out, you can schmooze with the locals, and you can marry one of the girls in the game. There are, I think, 4 or 5 different girls in the game that you can marry. Each of them require you to give them different gifts to make this marriage happen. Now, I hear you say, what else is in this game? Well, during the winter months, you can't grow anything unless you have a greenhouse, but that's a completely separate aspect of upgrading your farmstead. So you can't grow anything. So what can you do during the winter months? Do you wake up, go back into bed? I know, we all do it all year round. It's kind of the Moron way. It's kind of the way we like to do things. But no, you can go out and you can go mining. Now, the more you use your tools, the more experience you gain with them. The more experience, the more you can upgrade. Once you've upgraded your tools, you can then do more with them. So your original hoe, for instance, will only do 1 square at a time. But once you've upgraded it to mithril, then it will do an entire row for you, which is kind of cool, saves you time and energy. And the only down point is it's probably quicker to do 1 at a time, because the guy holds the thing and it steps back gradually, but not the point. But you can also find these little harvest owls. Well, I don't know what they are. Owls, pixies, whatever they are. Now, these guys like flower. Now, I'm not talking about flowers as in, daisies and roses and stuff like that. No. They like flour. Just a normal average bag of flour which you can buy from the local store. You give them this gift of flour during the spring months when they're having their little tea party. That way, during the summer and autumn months, you can hire them to come and work on the farm, so you don't have to do any of the stuff. Now, when you originally get to your farmstead is a complete and utter mess. This place is devoid of everything. You need to go out there and sort everything out. You won't even have the tools to do half of it. You can do so much at a time. But later on, once you get to year 2, year 3, you'll be using practically the entire field that's available to you. You'll also probably be bringing your cattle and sheep and horse out to graze in a field of grass that you've planted. Now, be very careful where you plant the grass, because once you plant grass, you can't put it up. That's right. Once you've got grass there, that's it. Nothing else will ever be there. So, you've got this going on, you've got that going on, but then by year 3, those guys are doing everything for you in the field. All you need to do is go around and plant once every couple of weeks to make sure that you've got crops available. Or you can do what I do and just grow anything that's a renewable crop. So you grow it, and then rather than destroying the plant to gain the crop, you actually just pick the crop off the branch and chuck it in the bin, and away you go. And by bin, guys, I don't mean a waste disposal. I mean it's a hopper. It's a selling bin. You can buy a basket later on. You have to buy upgrades for your backpack. You know, all of these things really, really do help. But then when these guys are doing everything on your field so you don't have to, you can go fishing. Now, fishing is kind of weird because 9 times out of 10 you're actually just going to get a boot. But why do you want to go fishing, I hear you say? Because you can get fish, because once you've upgraded your house and you've used the shopping network on a Saturday morning and then walked all the way to the pub to use the phone, because apparently the only people in Mineral Town with a phone is the pub, you can then order special delivery items that will come for kitchen upgrades. These kitchen upgrades can be used with all the fruit, vegetables and meats and stuff in the game. These things can be used to create dishes. Now, these food dishes are good because they help you replenish energy, but more than that, they help you in the annual cook-off. If you can win the annual cook-off, you get a power berry. Power berries mean that you can do more in a day, so you don't get tired out so quickly, because if you get tired out, you faint and then you get taken to the doctor's office. Once you're at the doctor's office, you've then got to walk all the way back to the house. Now, on top of all of that, the people in town are all very individual. No two people are alike. You can talk to everybody and everybody will have something different to talk about. You've got people out there who like the chicken farmers. You've got people out there like the old man with the horse. You've got people out there like the surly blacksmith, the guy who runs a tavern who's worried about his daughter, the guy who runs the shop whose daughter's a little bit of a hussy. Shh, that's on the down low, people. And then, you know, you've got people like the mayor who's just completely and utterly incompetent. Then you've got the weird Japanese guy that will turn up on your doorstep and try and sell you stuff whilst having his Fu Manchu beard going on. So it's kind of a weird game because it flip-flops between a few different styles, but at the heart of it, it is an RPG game. It's just one of the only RPG games I can ever think of where you actually have to play as a farmer. So that's the game in a nutshell. So we've done the game, let's do the scores. Okay, the story is kind of weak. Basically, you as a child used to spend time at the farm, your uncle dies, leaves you the farm, the people of the mineral town decide that you can only keep the farm if within 3 years you get it up to a satisfactory level. Now, this is actually very, very easy to do, but it does involve schmoozing with the people in the town to get their favour as well. So you've only really got to develop about a quarter of the farm to actually get their favour. Once you've gone past that 3 years, if you haven't got their favour, then you can't carry on playing. You have to start all the way from the beginning. If you have got their favour, you just carry on as it was. The trick to do this real quick is to get married. Now, you can get married by the end of the second year if you're not really trying, and by the end about halfway through to the start of the second year if you're really, really trying. And by really, really trying, I mean cheating using Game Shark codes, going to the vineyard every day, buying a bag load of wine and giving it to Catherine, I can't remember her name. She's the hussy whose dad runs the shop. So you marry her, she has baby, and everybody will also help out differently on the farms. So one girl will help you with the animals, one girl will help you in the field, one girl will do very little, but she helps you get favour. Now, favour in this game is very important, and that's what you're aiming towards. You get a score on your status menu that tells you how well you are doing. Try not to kill the animals. Main thing is, start with one chicken, let it lay some eggs, put the eggs in the incubator, bish bash bosh, 3 chickens. Let's face it, at the beginning of the game, you're not even worried about eggs because you're not going to be doing a lot of cooking because you wouldn't have upgraded the farm. So as well as upgrading the farmhouse, you can upgrade the buildings around it. So it does add something to it. But to do this, you have to have the right amount of wood. Now, you can either buy this wood, which is hideously expensive, or you can go out into the world and you can chop tree stumps, which is time consuming but kind of okay. So the gameplay aspect of it, it's okay. The story aspect is fine, a little bit long-winded to begin with, takes you about 10-15 minutes before you are even playing. So then you've got the gameplay aspect of it. It controls okay once you get used to the controls. Yet again, another one that uses the sort of Resident Evil controls. It's okay, it's good, gives you something to do all the time, but there will still be days when you don't have a lot to do. Early game, these days come in the form of rainy days. So you've planted your crops are in the field, they're all growing, and you need to go out and water them. So you go outside the door, and what's happening? Oh, it's raining. You don't need to water your crops, so you've got very little you can actually do. So, to make money early in the game, you go out, collect some random shit from the forest, and stick that in the hopper, and there, bish bash bosh, you earn yourself a little bit of money going up. It's okay, it's not fantastic. Your hopper's only emptied once a week, by the way, so I think that's like a Tuesday or something, and then you get paid at that time. And if you're around on the farm when that happens, there's like this whole 5 minutes of loading in stuff. It's not great. Then you've got the characters. Okay, some of the characters are fleshed out quite well, some of the characters not so much. One thing I do like about your character is you get to name the farm. You also get to name your dog, and you get to name yourself, which is kind of okay because at least you're not just on said farm and blah blah blah. I have a tendency to call my farm the funny farm because I was juvenile and young when this game first came out, and I used to think it was quite funny, and now thinking about it, I still think it's quite funny. So if you don't like that, name your farm something proper. Okay, the graphics, this game looks nice. Even today, it looks good. It looks more like an iOS game nowadays than anything else, but it's a good looking game. It's not going to win any awards for graphical content, and the characters are kind of weirdly drawn, but that's the kind of art style that Harvest Moon has always gone for, and it's quite nice. This is by no means the first Harvest Moon game, and it's by no means the last Harvest Moon game. This is just the first Harvest Moon game I ever remember playing. So the characters are all unique and special, and there's always something going on. Even your dog has a personality depending on how you treat it. So overall, I would say this game is worth a solid 8 out of 10 if you are into slow grindy games. If you're not into slow grindy games, this is probably not the game for you because everything takes time. Even upgrading the farm, it takes time. It's not an instant thing, it takes so many days before they're actually finished with the upgrade, and through that, every time you're on the farm screen, you have to listen to some guy sawing and bashing nails in. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Harvest Moon Back to Nature. I have been Tok. This has been Retrospective Review. Have a moronic day.